We ready? I feel like I need my shoes off.
No, you don't. Room's going to stink.
That's why I want them off.
Yeah, your feet's going to... Yeah, no.
Anyway, welcome back to episode number... What did I say? It was 16. 16 of
Season 2.
Season 2, guys, because we just took a break. Myself and Marcus have been away in Greece. We had a wedding. Hughes took the rain.
I was here.
You were here, right? Here. Lockie was in charge of the gym.
It was fun.
Was sorting out all the girls for Thrive. And, so this is season 2, because we went away. Is that why?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. School holidays and then back to season 2.
Really affects us.
School.
We don't put potties out on school holidays.
Yeah.
Term 2. Term 2?
Term 2.
No, it's term 4. It's going to... Oh, anyway.
Yeah, but it's our own terms.
Yeah.
But we don't...
Trimester 2.
So fortnightly is what we're going to be doing from here on out. So we'll be bringing these to you every second week. So lock that in because we're locking it in.
Lock that in. Were you saying my name or are you just saying lock it in twice?
No.
Lock it in.
No, I actually refrained from swearing just then as well. That's different.
Fuck.
Europe changed that.
Yeah. So we went to Europe. We had a good time. We went for 4 weeks. I stayed an extra week because I got sick for 2 weeks.
I tried to convince me to stay an extra week.
So hard to convince Marcus to extend. Cam would have had to slog it out for another week.
I would have had to spend my whole week rescheduling clients. Like that just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I had all the HUSLA clients well and truly in charge of all the HUSLA clients whilst we were away. So when we go away, we sort of hand our clients off to one of the other coaches to manage whilst we're away. It's sort of our way of living a normal life and, working 48 weeks a year like a normal person. So Cam, coaching.
Yeah, it was a big
slog.
Big 4 weeks.
Yeah. My clients had a lot of good things to say.
Same.
I think you're better than me.
Well, I was trying to still be as thorough as I would ordinarily be because I don't want to give people a worse service. And I think just my nature is pretty detail-oriented and thorough.
Thesaurus.
That's like the number one feedback.
Human thesaurus dictionary and what's like just any definition of anything. Cam is a gun.
That's a dictionary.
Dictionary?
That's
but definition of things as well.
It's Cam GPT.
How things work, like divining how like something works and why it's that way.
He's an AI engine, bro.
You're an engineer.
Cam GPT.
CPT.
Yeah. Is the C for Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you pretty much nailed it. I had some really good feedback as well. Couple specific things.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't knock the mic.
Nah, knock the mic.
He was in that office for a while.
Yeah.
I missed Cam while you guys were away. It felt like Cam went
Yeah,
away as well.
you guys probably saw me more than Locke did.
I think
on FaceTime.
Last year would have been fucking even more horrendous. Marcus is here on his own. Marcus.
Locke was here for 3 days of the week.
Oh,
True. That's before I was
Mondays
away.
and Fridays was ridiculous.
Yep.
It was a bit more staggered though because I came back maybe 2 weeks before you guys.
True.
I think it was only 2 to 3 on my own, like with Law. But
Locke pretty much doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah. And back then you weren't here
He's
as
a
much.
computer nerd. No.
Yeah, I was staring at 4 screens for those 3 days.
But I used to look forward to
And
Tuesday,
vacuuming.
Wednesday, Thursday, like just to have a buddy up here. I was so bored.
I don't remember if we filmed videos or not. We must have.
We
you
did,
guys
bro.
were
We
filming.
did the steak
Yeah,
sandwich and we did everything.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
We made the most of it.
True.
It was good.
True.
I don't think I've ever consistently gotten up earlier. Well, actually, maybe when I was labouring, but it was a lot of like 5 a.m., 10 to 5 alarms.
God.
That's impressive. I just get to sleep at that time.
I like the mornings.
Nah, I hate the mornings. Depression for the first 2 hours. Brain works at night time. It's a good concoction of skills. Call it a skill?
Have you ever been a morning person?
Nah,
Never ever.
never.
Bro, do you know how
mornings.
Do you know how annoying it
every
was?
morning early.
Do you know how annoying it was on holiday with him? I'm up at like 8, 9 a.m. ready to go. He's like fast asleep. And then he gets up and he's got like a 3-hour start to the morning. Doesn't leave the apartment
Been
for
looking
3
at
hours.
machines until like 3 in the morning.
And figuring out if they'll fit in his suitcase,
Lowballing
bring him
people
home.
on Marketplace.
I'm like, come on, get up.
Yeah.
I don't lowball. I rarely lowball actually. What the hell were we just saying?
Europe.
Nah, I had something else to say. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, morning person. Nah. Mum always screaming at me in the morning. Always. Like, get out. And I'm like still in bed, late to school, that sort of vibe.
I used to wake up at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, missing all my alarms because Dad had come home from work on a lunch break and he'd throw shoes at me. That was how I'd wake up. Miss class.
Yeah.
Worst.
Nothing's changed for me though. I'm still not a morning person.
Eugen's lucky. He gets out by 3-4 o'clock some days because he starts so early. He's got the whole afternoon.
He starts yesterday.
Yeah. We
He built
finished late
different.
as.
He built different.
Bit of vitamin V and you're fine to go.
Yeah.
Wasn't 3 hour start to the day, was it?
Yo,
I occasionally
sometimes
had
it was
work to
4.
do. So I occasionally
When you had
to
work,
do.
it was fair enough, yeah. But some of the other times, oh my God.
Yeah.
Your hour-long showers.
Yeah, but I couldn't sleep. I can't sleep. Like even in Europe, like I was like, I couldn't sleep. So I'm sitting there. It's like 2:30, 3 a.m.
But the jet lag also got us hard at the start, remember?
No,
What do you mean, bro? The first week in Lefkada?
didn't even touch me at all.
Oh, maybe.
I
I'll
was-
speak for myself.
I was
then.
invincible to it. To be honest with you,
Never copped jet lag like that before in my life. When I got back and when I got there. But every other time I've been fine. This time I just got rinsed.
on the way back, I
yeah.
copped it one night. Fucking, I reckon it's the first time ever. I was just woke up at 2:30 and I couldn't sleep till like 6, and then I slept straight through my haircut. Sorry, Chris.
My first week back at work, I was up at like 3, 4 a.m. every day. It was the worst.
No, I was so exhausted. I slept the entire 2 legs. Like I wasn't awake on both flights.
Yeah, well.
I woke up 8, went straight back to sleep. I slept like at least 20 hours
I should have just done
on the
that.
way back.
How could
and
you
I
be
still
jet-lagged?
slept that night. It was insane. I couldn't believe it.
So you got home at night and then went to bed and slept through, and
We
then
got
you think
home
you
at
would-
like 5 p.m. and then I went to bed at like, I don't even know what time, but normal time, probably earlier than usual.
You reckon you'd be jet lagged? You'd probably just run down. You'd probably just gas.
Yeah. So I copped a sickness for 2 weeks whilst I was over there. I had to cop antibiotics, and then that's why I extended 6 days because I was like, we're there for a wedding. I'm sick at the wedding, sick for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were bad, man.
So I was exhausted. By the end of it, I was exhausted. So yeah, no. Anyway, I slept better than I've ever slept in my life.
We had fun. We just filled a vending machine like 4 times a week.
Yeah,
Had that thing stacked.
The members said that the vending machine was the most filled it's ever been.
Yep.
It's
Twice we got that compliment.
it's a compliment to you. It's an insult to me.
The best kind.
To be fair, I hate filling that vending machine.
It's all right.
Whenever I help out, I barely ever do
It doesn't
but-
even take long. It's just
No, it's just
annoying.
tedious.
And it's like you walk downstairs, you're like, oh shit, I need to do the vending machine. It's like at the end of the day. Anyway, this is horrendous
Yeah,
conversation.
it's
but
just shit.
I
Yeah,
moved-
let's
so
fucking-
shit. No, let's
let's
just
cut
run
the vending machine chat. This sucks.
Nah, it's all right.
We don't need 5 minutes on a vending machine.
All right. Well, then we'll flip back to Europe.
Little driving mishap.
Driving, yeah. So I did a lot of driving on the first week. I was getting heavily critiqued by my backseat drivers, which was Marcus, Anthea,
I was never in the back seat, bro. I was in the front seat, and I had the maps up for you. I was a good front seat.
and Jordan
passenger.
and Jordan Janikadakis.
Jordan was the worst.
He
Gooch was the
yeah,
worst.
yeah.
Gucci.
So I was
Jordan
getting-
Janikadakis. When you hear us say Gucci, that's him. Close friend of ours.
Yep.
The worst backseat driver you've ever heard of. And when you try and get him to get a direction up to do something for the first time in weeks on a
He's
trip, he gets it wrong. He's like, huh? It's right here. And then we missed 3 turnoffs because of him. But anyway.
Sorry, Jordan. You probably won't listen to this anyway.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah, so I
he'll
was
listen
getting-
if we tell him that he's in it.
So yeah,
we call
I was
him
getting
out.
backseat driven for sure. I was getting backseat. At least I was getting insulted by you for sure. You're like, oh, bro, like you're. What were you saying to me? I was saying to you, you're really close on the right when you were driving, and then when I was driving, you kept telling me how much space I had. So in Europe, you drive right hand side of the car, but left hand side of the car, but right hand side of the road. So it's like, you know, you're sort of getting used to like your spacings. And I had this guy, like I'm leaving space on the side I'm not used to, so the left hand side, so I'm not going to like go into oncoming. So I leave a little extra space. And I just hug the right, and he's like, "Oh, you had so much space there. You had so much space there." I'm like, just trying to be safe. And then this guy was like almost throwing us off cliffs because he was going too far on the other side.
And I was getting angry at you, telling you never touch the steering. He went to touch the steering wheel once. I'm like, never
Yeah,
touch the
no,
steering
it's
wheel.
Fully
while
shot
driving.
bricks. Like, what was it? You got so close to the right. I'm like, oh, went to go and like turn the steering wheel, but like I don't know what, but yeah, we were like, you know when you can see like the line on the side of the road. So like I was seeing the road ending and then dirt and a cliff, and I felt like I don't want to like be too. Nah, it was under me. Right, the end of the road was under me, not under the wheels over on my right. It was under me.
We got there. Wherever we were going, we got there.
We survived, and yeah. So we did. I did a lot of driving.
Let's
did a lot of driving.
Let's talk about the most important drive that you did. We were driving from our villa in Mykonos.
Yeah.
Our villa in Mykonos was on a really steep hill.
On a quaddie.
Yeah, we had quaddies. If you've been to Mykonos, it's like pretty much the only way to get around. It's very very hard to drive with cars because there's such like narrow roads. And top of the hill, villa, really steep incline. And to get to our villa, there was a boom gate. And to get that boom gate open when you're coming down from the top, we thought that you had to use this keypad that was beyond the gate. So you'd have to get off, walk to the gate, press the code, walk back, open the gate, and then drive. We didn't realize there was actually a keypad way further back up the driveway. But anyway, me and Jace were on the quaddies one time. He's in front of me. And I'm like, I don't think you hadn't done it yet. You hadn't had to do that yet. So I was like, oh, bro, you got to get off and like press the keypad to let us through, like put in the code. And in slow motion, he puts the quaddie in park, doesn't put the handbrake on a hill like this, steep incline, goes to get off, and it just slowly rolls through the boom gate and breaks the thing. Snaps the boom gate in half. Lost the bond like that.
Yeah,
Actually, no, you ended up getting most of it back.
Yeah, so what these guys don't know is that morning I got a phone call and they asked for a demolition of their boom gate. So I was just doing them a favour. Straight through, clean cut, boom gate snapped. And one of the guys the family that manages all of the villas in that estate was just standing at the door because the door was where the boom gate was. Just standing at the door like...
shaking their head at us like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, I showed him the text message. I'm like, fucking demo on the boom gate. And he's like...
Wait, you're being genuine?
Nah.
No, bro.
It's just a shit joke.
Okay.
So yeah, cleaned up the boom gate. Bond disappeared. Gave him a little bit of a nudge about that because the bond was $1,800 and the boom gate was plastic. And so I was like, yeah, all right, there goes that.
That ruined your night.
It ruined my night big time.
I was trying to tell him, like, don't worry about it, bro. Like, money comes and goes. It's all
I didn't
good.
care about the money at all, bro. You know what I cared about?
True, you did, yeah.
You know what I care? I'm a car guy.
Yeah,
and I drove through a boom gate.
I know. It was so
Do you
out
know
of
how
character.
pathetic that is?
Yeah, he kept saying, I just feel like...
I felt like an idiot.
It happens to the best of us.
Like, I felt like the lowest of the low idiot. Like, yeah.
Don't worry. I sold a push bike when I was younger, and to celebrate, I drove through Macca's to get some food, and I drove through with the bike on the roof, and I smashed the bike off the roof on the way to sell it.
You sold it.
Yeah. I still sold it.
But yeah,
Actual?
no.
Yeah, I had to go fix it
$50.
first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably like the lowest moment for me on the trip.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty
It was insane, man.
good.
Insane. Yeah, I loved it.
Oh yeah. We went dark pretty quickly as well.
Yeah. I stacked on some kegs.
Yeah.
I was like watching what I was eating for 2 days, and I just went full send. And
I put on a few, but I reckon I did alright. I was just like missing breakfast or having a small breakfast. Frappe, of course.
you were a lot smarter
Small
about
breakfast, small lunch is what I do here anyway. Small breakfast, small lunch, and then I fill up for dinner. That's how I roll. Whereas, the first time I went to Europe, I put on 10 kilos and I was just eating like 2 wraps like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Sort of lucky.
The desserts killed me, man. I was having dessert 3 times a day.
Yeah, we had to,
It was
10
killing
kilos
me.
in how long?
3 months.
Far out.
Yeah. I think I was 18 or 19. But after that, I was just like, Jesus, 10 kilo. But I was like, like back then you're young, you're like, oh yeah, we'll get 2 every time. 2, every time. Like eating everything. But yeah, so I came back pretty much the same weight as when I left. Definitely fatter, definitely smaller. Feel it, I cry about it. But we're back trading, which is good. Yeah, we've got no other stories, do we?
Oh, there's heaps, but like, there's only so much time on this podcast. And we've got a bunch of questions actually to answer as well.
Yeah. So we put out a Q&A yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, for some questions because we want to essentially just get you guys involved and, answer questions that you guys essentially want to ask. And we think it would be valuable and a good time to sort of answer the questions as a team. We're all going to have slightly, I would assume, different answers in different areas or different opinions on certain questions and topics. So this is the best time that we can sort of give information. And I think it's something that we should continue definitely doing over the poddies, just a little Q&A. So guys, if you want to...
We will.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, like, it's about you guys, like you guys listening. We want what comes out of these podcasts to be valuable to you. That's why we're doing it, really. Like, whether it's, lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, like whatever it is.
Stuck in the vending machine.
Yeah. Stuck in the vending machine. Whatever it is, like, just has to be, we want it to be valuable to the listeners first and foremost.
Yeah, so we will put out a Q&A probably the day before. But you can also ask questions. I think you can comment on Spotify now, and you can put comments in YouTube as well. So if you're watching, welcome to chuck a comment down there, and or a question down there, and we'll copy paste it into a notes sheet and answer it on the podcast.
Yep, that's the process. That's how it goes.
Are we going into the Q&A
let's
now?
launch in.
Why not?
All right. To be honest with you, the general topic, most of the questions were body composition focused. I think everyone's sort of seeing the sun come out.
Daylight savings, summer.
Yeah, I know, like, definitely for me, it's like, oh, I'm a bit fat, need to lose some weight. So I'm assuming everyone's, like, sort of wanting to get into shape for summer. So that's the general, whatever the word is for that, theme of all the questions. So, yeah, there's a few other bits and pieces through there as well, some ACL questions, Marcus, but essentially what I'm just trying to get it open and talk. I definitely can't do two things at once. So, we'll fucking answer them in a 3-0, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Very nice. Should I just go straight from the first one?
I can't remember.
Okay, so, should I say it like word for word?
Yeah, for sure.
Or what I think it's supposed to mean?
Say it word for word and then explain what you think it means.
I always thought it was in your 30s. And I posted this on my personal Instagram, so I'm guessing this bloke is saying, I always thought you were in your 30s. Thanks. No, I'm almost there. Almost
40 bucks?
I was speaking to Manul.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Manul yesterday, and I can't remember how we got onto it. And he's like, what year were you born? And I was like, 97. And he's like, fuck, man, you're pretty old, hey? I was like, yeah, I know, man.
Yeah, bro.
He's like, yeah, you're unk status now. Oh. So I guess we're getting up there.
I'm all right with it, to be honest with you.
It's not as bad as when Hayden thought I was 35, and when I told him you're way off, he said, older, yeah?
He thought you were 40.
He thought I was older than 35. That was rough.
No, but what if it's not about how you look? He just sees you like, having a business.
That's how we tried to save it.
Dude,
That's how we tried to save it.
most likely what it was, but we need to keep this as like a funny insult to him. And we need it to feel like it was an insult to him as well.
I didn't know that, like, having a business meant that you were 15 years above what you, or not 15, like 12 years above what you are. But
True.
Yeah,
True.
Probably just like you're established, doing well.
it just adds 12 years. Yeah.
Plus 12.
No, you look old as well. Nah, you actually look young, but that beard is insane. You and your brother Peter have the strongest beard.
This was a point. This was a 0.5 on less than a week ago.
No.
I wish I could grow facial hair.
Peter's got the beard of like,
yeah.
I tell it every
Carpet.
time I see him. I'm like, man, that
carpet.
beard is crazy.
Yeah.
Mine's
like,
ginger. I'm never going to grow one proper. It goes ginger.
Do you shave every day or every second?
Nah, like once or twice a week. Twice a week, probably.
Heaven.
Yeah.
Heaven.
You grow yours anyway. How often do you shave?
Every time we go to the barber, bro.
Oh, so you don't shave. Your barber does.
Nah, because
Once a week.
if I shave, unless I use clippers, which I always butcher and I leave patches, if I shave with a razor, I get like irritated skin and stuff. So I just gave up
it's
on it
rough.
years ago.
Yeah, but we're also wads. They do like fades on our beards and shit.
Yeah.
Like they.
I mean, I
fade
just
up,
0.5 it, try to keep it as short as possible without going bald.
I'd have to dye
and it
mine.
still is a carpet by the end of the week.
Anyway, rug beard. Should we go next question?
Yep.
Yeah.
So all right. So this one's a yeah. We'll see. What is the real cutoff point for peak natural gains, strength and muscle wise?
Yeah, right. All right. I'm not 100% sure exactly what they mean. Like, if we're talking about, like, genetic potential, I think, like, let's preface this with, like, it's extremely, extremely, extremely hard to actually reach your genetic potential. Like if we're talking about natural IFBB, like bodybuilders from show to show, like they're still gaining muscle and they're like doing things to a T. So they're probably at like that end of the spectrum where you're getting the most gain you possibly can, and they're still gaining. So like decent question, like it's a fair enough question, but I don't think it's applicable to most, like the vast majority of people. In saying that, I think the way that I would kind of assume that would work, I'm not 100% sure, but once you actually stop seeing progress, like once you stop getting stronger, once you stop seeing body composition changes, weight changes, stuff like that, is when I would probably say, all right, you're probably at your genetic potential.
Yeah, I think it's like not possible to answer. Like, how would you answer it in, like, you know, kilos of muscle? Like, it'd be different for every person. Like, or strength. Like, it's impossible to answer what someone's cutoff would be, or someone's max amount of muscle and strength they can build naturally. But I would assume, based on, as you said before, genetics, right? Some people build muscle faster than others, and you know, can just hold muscle in their frame naturally, and others can't. So, yeah, I would assume that, you know, as you get older, you would most likely start declining, and we know that happens at an early-ish age, and you can delay it when you do train, as you know, a middle-aged or before middle-aged person. But yeah, it's impossible to answer. I mean, my answer to you is, let's find out.
I've got a general sort of framework, I guess. Like, I think a lot of people think they've like plateaued or like capped out their potential, but I feel like you can't really say that unless you're properly monitoring and tracking, like training, your nutrition. You need objective markers in there as well. So like measurements, obviously like photos are good, but they're a little bit like they can vary quite a lot depending on how well fed you are, if you're in a deficit, if you're in a surplus, lighting, all that stuff. But I would say for most people, like unless you've been training properly hard, following a well-designed program and tracking all of that data, I reckon you could probably milk that for at least 10 years of like proper serious training. Obviously gains
longer.
Yeah, I reckon even longer.
Yeah. I think honestly, like obviously gains slow down as you continue training, but
yeah.
I mean, I've been training at a gym since I was 16, and I was doing stuff before that at home.
How old are you now? 40?
Yeah, I'm 28. So I've been in a gym for 12 years. Still progressing. Obviously, goals change here and there, but I think for most people, they're nowhere near their ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we did reach it, it would be when we're like way older than what we are.
Well, isometric strength for males peaks in your 30s. I believe you don't start actually losing muscle mass until like roughly your 40s, but that can obviously be sort of delayed if you do actually regularly train. So
yeah,
I think the answer for that would be most people probably aren't anywhere near there to actually worry about that. And I mean, even like, as you said, like natty bodybuilders, like you've got people like Alberto Nunez. I think he's been competing for maybe like 15, 20 years, and he's still making slow progress from comp to comp. So I think it's a lot further away than most people think. I think most people just don't do everything that's needed to actually get there, which isn't like a knock on them. Like not everyone has the capacity to dot every single I across every single T consistently for 15, 20 years, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
we're not all pro bodybuilders. So
but I do think it's probably a non-issue for most people.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth adding as well, like you can experience like muscle loss earlier in life if you're not ticking just basic boxes. Like most people undereat their protein, undersleep, under exercise, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, these things can happen to certain people sooner as well. So, yeah, I think to tie that off, all I would say is let's find out. Do everything right, find out. Cool. Go hard. We don't know.
Can I ask a naive question?
Go hard.
What causes that muscle loss once you reach a certain age? Like, is it hormonal changes?
It's
or is
just,
it like...
I mean, from my understanding, and I guess I get a lot of this understanding from, you know, the kind of rehab side of things and what happens to our structures over time, is there is a natural degenerative process to our bodies. Like, you know, we die. You know what I mean? Like we ramp up, and we ramp down. Benjamin Button does it the opposite way around.
So do you, apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, like naturally, our joints, our cartilage, all that type of stuff degenerates over time. But for example, like, and this goes back to what we were saying before, like you can have bone on bone in a joint and function completely fine and way better than somebody that has full cartilage, in their knee or whatever, and has heaps of pain and dysfunction.
Why? So what you're saying is like it just depends on the person.
Yeah, and even then, like
Yeah.
even though we've deteriorated, doesn't dictate our function and what we can do.
Yeah. I don't think, like degeneration doesn't necessarily equal a drop in performance. Obviously,
Correct.
past a certain point it will.
Yeah.
But I think from a sarcopenia standpoint, that's normally around your 40s, but you can delay that
Yeah.
by
Do they
doing the right things.
take all these numbers from just like averages, or
I'm not sure how they reach the numbers.
because
I
it'd be
assume
like
it would be.
environmental, external factors. Like the
Of
majority of
course.
people have
Yeah.
kids, they
Yeah.
start training less, they sleep less, they
Yeah. Activity levels are massive.
I think
Like,
the other thing
yeah.
is it's tricky because like a lot of the studies that are done in, I guess like anatomy, physiology, whatever, they're like somewhat limited with the actual populations doing the studies, and a lot of people aren't willing to actually do those studies. So a lot of professional athletes don't want to go into these studies because it's going to pull them away from their normal training structure or routine. So there's probably a fair bit of cloudiness in that data, and
And it has to be done for so long.
yeah.
To actually measure that, like it's long-term studies.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
I've lost my place. Let me find it. What do we reckon the best calf exercise is?
Hands down, I think we'll all agree a standing calf raise.
Yeah.
Ideally on a stable machine, working through full range of motion, pushing extremely close to failure, specific for the calf, and working to a slow tempo. I think you taught me that, bro. A little bit like slower of a tempo just means that the Achilles tendon doesn't just spring you back up. So if we're actually
Getting
loading,
length.
if we're actually loading the calf and trying to get the most out of the calf and target both calf muscles, you got your gastrocnemius, which is like the top half of your calf, and then your soleus being the bottom half. I think studies have proven that the best thing to grow both is a standing calf
Yeah.
raise.
Anything where the knee's not bent basically is my choice, which is typically a standing.
Yeah, because knees not
calf
bent,
raise.
like it's still a good exercise, but it's just going to load the soleus. It shortens the gastroc, puts it in a position where it can't really work, so it's not going to get any stimulus, or not much, not enough
Less.
to elicit any.
But they're all good tools in the toolbox. If you enjoy doing seated calf raise, there's no reason why you can't have it in your program.
Yeah, like we've got one here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Training is for enjoyment as well, and not everything can be optimal, and optimal can be something that you enjoy more. So if you enjoy seated, all right, worth having some standing in there as well, but do you seated? You know, it's fine.
Do we all?
I don't know
agree on
anyone that likes seated calf
Yeah.
raises though, but geez. Let us know if you do. If you like seated calf raises, just chuck them in the comments. I want to.
I think Shane likes seated.
That's sickening.
He does them well though. Like he doesn't just lean back, hip flexor it.
Yeah,
And-
the lean back hip flexor
Yeah, he
needs
used
to
a
go.
lot of weight still as well. Like
He's
he
got
loads
some
them up.
bulbous calves.
Yeah.
Very yeah. Good
Very
calves.
bulbous. Very bulbous.
Good girth.
Calf girth. All right, this one is best split for people going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week.
Go the other way.
I'm gonna say full body or upper lower. 3 days a week, probably full body, just so you can hit everything at least twice. 4 days a week, full body or upper lower. Again, hit everything at least twice. Yeah, not a massive fan of like the just body part split of chest tries, back bis, legs, because again, you just don't get as much frequency in the week. We know that stimulating muscle protein synthesis more regularly with the training stimulus leads to better growth. So, pretty much full body or upper lower.
On that, I think there's some cool research out there that's shown that there's not a massive added benefit to adding in a third.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think this, like the comparison of 1 to 2 is huge. Like,
Yeah.
the difference between 1 to 2 is huge in the benefit that you get, but the third doesn't provide much more benefit. From a hypertrophy point of view, I'm pretty sure it is. Obviously, strength's probably different, especially because there's a skill component to a lot of the stuff, like SPD, for example. It's very common to be higher frequency, even 4 times, benching or whatever. But if it's for hypertrophy, I'm pretty sure from what I read, 2 to 3 is not a massive difference.
Yep. We're obviously answering this question from just like a body composition standpoint, like obviously.
From a hypertrophy standpoint.
True.
With powerlifting, like it's generally going to be more so leaning towards what you would call full body, because you're squatting a couple of times, you're deadlifting a couple of times, and you're benching, a few times a week, and you can't just really split that into upper lower unless you drop off. Or it depends on the person really, but I reckon that's a tough one to answer, because the best training split is the best training split for you as an individual. And if you prefer doing full body, or you're extremely busy and you got to train 6 times a week, but they're sort of like half sessions, these sorts of things go into, I guess, decision making. And I don't want to answer the question as optimal, because do we then take a human being that's optimal that can train 3 or 4 times a week? The question is 3 to 4 times a week, actually.
I think as a general rule, though, probably full body or upper lower.
If we're talking, a science-based explanation, that's at least what the science also would probably agree with.
Yep. So
based on frequency and stuff like that,
But I reckon I would only split things up to 3 times a week for someone body composition focus, is if they're going like absolutely balls to the wall on, say, like quads, and they got a couple of quad exercises, and we want to get, say, 6 exercises a week in, but they're doing 2 lower body exercises absolutely balls to the wall, and then their 3rd lower body exercise might have a drop in performance, then I would probably put that on the 3rd day, but only for the reason that they'll get a better quality sets done on that 3rd day.
And I think it's important, like, that's a good point you make, because that's probably something that's not as studied. Do you know what I mean? Like these little, and this is so important, like when we talk about research and stuff, it doesn't often cover every single base. It's a general rule of thumb based on certain variables being controlled.
For an average, or for the people that actually did the study.
Correct. And if we're talking about specific circumstances like that, where a goal is a little bit more specific to, growing your quads or something like that, and it's a little bit more nuanced and stuff,
Yeah, the studies are there. It's awesome that we have research and we have stuff like this, but again, like, not that you need to take it with a grain of salt, but like there are so many other variables that might affect a person compared to what was affecting those people that were in that study.
Correct.
Or even exercise selection. Like if you're absolutely slamming a bunch of length and bias movements 3 times a week might not be recoverable for you. Like you probably wouldn't do this, but if you thought of doing hard sets of pendulum squats 3 times a week might not be that recoverable. Whereas if you've got one pendulum and, a leg extension and maybe another leg extension, that's probably a lot more feasible for more frequency.
Definitely.
So I think obviously how much fatigue and muscle damage you're accruing from those exercises will factor in.
Definitely.
So
to tie that off, I guess essentially what I would say is trial stuff, check how things are going with subjective and objective data. So take photos, do measurements, look at your strength over time, do all these sorts of things. And then if you want to try something else, try it and see how effective it is. This is something that we do in the back end with our clients. So our clients usually don't see this stuff, but like we'll look at all of this data and then we make decisions based on that. And there've been plenty of times where I've done stuff with clients that isn't upper lower or full body. Sometimes it's been more tailored towards a bro split and it's worked well for them, and I've gone to do upper lower with them or something like that, but they just enjoy bro split more, so then they just train harder because they're doing bro split and they get better results. So trial, test, and retest, and then trial something else and see how you go over time. Like the good thing about, I guess, training is that it's a long game, it's a journey, and although we think at this point in time, over the next 6 months I'm going to try and put on as much muscle as I can, it's really over the next 5 to 20 years that you're going to be stacking up muscle. So there is nothing wrong, in my opinion, with trialing things for a few months, It's not going to be wasted time. It's going to be learnt. You're going to learn, and then you'll know, I guess, what to and not to do next time. And this is where, again, obviously guidance can come in handy as well, and working collaboratively with a coach. You can really sort of trial these things out.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, and then, if you want to do something really fucking dumb, at least a coach can be there to sort of say, hang on, I probably wouldn't do that. Next question? Or
Yeah, I mean, I guess to tie that off, probably the big thing there is like it's obviously fine to try new things, but I think you still want to have an understanding of the general rules and the principles before you go like breaking all of them.
Yeah.
Because again, like the rules and principles are in place for a reason. They work for most people, and you might break them in some ways, but I think generally working within those
it's probably your best. It's your best
the
starting
bet.
point.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to start somewhere, it's probably there.
Yeah,
Definitely. But then again, as well, just to sort of, I'm going to sit on the fence with that as well. Like I like to learn the hard way sometimes, and I know a lot of other people like to learn the hard way too. So, yes, these are the principles, but if you're like, screw that, like I'm not going to follow these principles, I think this is going to be better. Just do it and try it. Test all of these sorts of things out. Track your progress over time, and be honest with yourself. This is the problem with like everyone that coaches themselves. Well, not everyone, but people that coach themselves, is your bias.
Yeah.
So
Like it works for me, but
Yeah.
is it working better than what this would work?
Yeah.
If your goal is to get the thing that works best for you and your goals, be honest and compare the two. And if you don't have something to compare it to, if you haven't done, say a 6-8 week block of this versus a 6 week or 8 week block of this, and said like, okay, this actually ends up doing better than this, it's very hard to say that works for me. It's the best. Yeah.
And then there's obviously bias as well. Like you stop yourself from actually seeing the truth. Like if you want this to be better, you're going to be biased towards saying, no, that actually did work. And that's sort of like, there's like more that I want to.
Well, I think that just comes down to being a mindset thing that probably needs to shift. Like if you want to make the best progress, but yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. Lucky you guys just tied that off then, because I forgot what the other thing I was going to say. It was good though. Next question. Ideal calorie intake to lose fat and keep muscle. Sorry, it actually says ideal macro split. So for those of you guys that don't know, calorie intake, overall calories, macros make up your calories, macros your protein, carbs, fats. They make up the calories. So ideal macro split. Do you guys want me to?
Yeah, I reckon you
off?
start on this one. Yeah.
Okay, so ideal macro split.
I reckon we're going to agree.
Lose fat
on this.
Yeah, we'll be all quite similar. To lose fat and keep muscle. So I'm going to answer this in a numbersy sort of way. So general rule of thumb for cutting is between 10 and 30% reduction in calories from maintenance. I know the question was macros, but we're going to start there. Closer to 30%, this is for like natural individuals. Closer to 30% is your mini cut. There's, probably ideal not to run them for too long. You're going to be getting
Definitely
faster rates of loss, somewhere between 3 and 5% of body weight per month, which for a 100 kilo person is between 3 and 5 kilos per month. And for a 50 kilo person is between 1.5 to, 2.5 kilos. So for a 50 kilo individual, it's quite a substantial rate of loss.
And that's like I guess universal for us three. That's pretty much the most aggressive we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that is this, like doing things in a way that's not actually going to hinder your goals and your progress.
Yep.
Yeah. And your health as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So then to sort of lead on from there, I wouldn't. So 20 to 30% reduction from maintenance calories, I would say, are for your pretty advanced lifters and people that actually track their nutrition like pretty hard. So I wouldn't recommend someone who's just like getting into it to go and do a mini cut. Nutritional literacy needs to be at a level where this can be sustainably done, I guess. So with that in mind, because we don't know based on this question their nutritional literacy, general rule of thumb, I'd recommend 10 to 20 if you're in the gym, you're focusing on nutrition, you've started tracking. If you're 5, 6, 7 years into tracking, you can say no to hunger a little bit. You're pretty keen and dedicated and all that sort of stuff, and you're not fairly new to lifting, I would say you could lean towards a harder cut. So with that in mind, we work out your protein target based on your body weight. So, I use lean body mass for this. So if you're quite overweight, we wouldn't use your body weight for that. We would use what we'd call lean body mass, which I just feel over, the last 8 years of coaching, you can look at someone and say, all right, you're probably going to, if you were to be, 10, 20% body fat, you'd probably be around 80 to 90 kilos. So we'll work out protein based on that. There's no point just if they're 150 kilos or something, using that figure to find out their protein intake. So we usually say between around double body weight, but for a cut, somewhere up to a 2.6 is where I go.
Can we just make a quick side point? It just popped up into my head. This is why macro calculators aren't accurate.
Yep.
Because they don't actually know your lean. So you put in your weight, but is that weight muscle? Or is it non-contractile tissue like fat? That is not going to give you an accurate. So if you weigh 150 kilos, your protein intake is going to be way above, if you punch into one of those calculators, way above what you actually need it to be.
Yeah.
Amongst plenty of other things
of course.
that happen, like there's people that I can name, but I've had people same weight, very active, and literally 2,000 calories difference between their maintenance. One of them eats 4,000.
Yeah.
Very active. So your macro calculator asks you for your BMI, body weight, height, and activity level. And so they would be very similar for both of these people, but there's literally 2,000 calories between maintenance. So what we do, just to sort of like stay on that tangent slightly before going back to the recommendation, is we'll get someone to track their calories for a couple of weeks and figure out where they are and what their body weight is doing. And then based on that, then we use these figures to find out what protein, carbs, and fats. So 2 to 2.6 grams per kilo of body weight. So for a 100 kilo person, you're looking at 200 to 260 grams of protein. For a 50 kilo person, we're looking at 100 to, what did I say, 2.6? What's that? 2.6 times 50.
You did that based off just 100 kilos though, so you got to remember fat-free.
Yeah, no, but then I did it based off, Okay, so sorry.
Yep.
Someone that lean body mass would roughly be around 50 or 100 kilos. Yep. Going towards the harder cuts, you'd lean harder into 2.6 grams, and then more moderate cuts, 2.2 to 2.2 is fine. I usually just sit around 2.4 with my lifters, and if they're going for a hard mini cut, up to 2.6, 100%. So then from there, we use a fat calculator, very similar, between 0.8 and 1.5 is usually what I do for females, a little bit higher because a couple of weeks in their cycle, they respond better to higher fat. So I just never go below that recommendation, which is 0.8 per kilo of body weight. And then for blokes, 0.5 to 1.3. But, the general recommendation is 80% of your fat is supposed to be polymonounsaturated fat, good fats. And no one does that. So it's very, very rare and, in my opinion, unnecessary, and definitely not. You'd probably don't want to go down to 0.5 because you're not going to be ticking that box of getting most of your fats from good quality fat sources. It's mostly going to come from, that rice that you ate, the fat on your steak, and all that sort of stuff. So you're not going to be getting your good fats in. Your good fats are like, things like uncooked extra virgin olive oil, nuts, avocados, these sorts of things, which not many people really eat, and there's not really much room for that in a 100 kilo person. Half a gram per kilo is 50 grams of fat.
There's not much room really for nuts and seeds on that.
There's not much room for those good quality fats to come in. So then, knowing your maintenance, knowing your protein, knowing your fat, the rest is carbohydrate if you're in the gym trying to build muscle and maintain muscle. The question is about maintaining muscle whilst losing fat. So the rest of it's carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the main, or glycogen's the main fuel source that we use in the gym when we're training to build muscle. So we fill the rest of it with that. Now, can you go a little higher with fat? Yes. Is it going to matter that much? Probably not. But these are the general ranges that we use. My last part I know this has been a big answer, guys, but I'm assuming you guys are all going to be on the same page with it. But and then maintaining muscle, provided that you're still training, and you're training relatively hard,
Yeah.
you know, don't go into a cut and then just like train even harder than you used to. You'll probably bury yourself. But provided that you're still training hard, you're still doing a similar-ish amount of sessions, you probably have to drop a tad of volume depending on how big the cut is, or how hard the cut is. But provided that you're training and you're doing good quality training and you're lifting weights through a full range of motion close to failure, and you're not doing too much and you're sleeping adequately, then you're not going to lose muscle. I'm going to say not as a definitive answer. Again, probably should add, provided that you're not cutting for 3 years straight.
Yeah. There's probably like an inherent small loss.
Yeah,
of
you'll
muscle,
you'll
matter-
lose a little bit,
Yeah,
but
it's more so like how we can heavily mitigate how much you lose.
I mean, atrophy occurs within a training week anyway.
Yeah.
Which is why we want to stimulate muscle protein synthesis a couple of times. You probably will lose a little bit in a deficit, like it's somewhat the reality of cutting, but it's not going to be, if you do the right things, it's not going to be an astronomical amount. And
It's gonna be,
once food
not
comes
much at all.
back up, like that'll come back quickly.
So again, depending on how hard you cut will dictate all of this sort of stuff. So with the harder cuts, we take breaks more regularly. We don't cut for as long. That's obviously to make sure that muscle loss doesn't happen. But yeah, you will look smaller when you're cutting because you're reducing the amount of food you're eating, reducing the amount of glycogen and glucose and all these sorts of things, or mainly glycogen, which is essentially your fuel in the muscle, binds to the water, goes in the muscle, and that's what gives you that full look. So that's why when bodybuilders go into competition, they carb up the day before, it gives them that full look. So when you're cutting, don't expect to look just as muscular as you did a few weeks before. You're going to look smaller, 100%, but it's glycogen, it's fuel, provided that you're not doing silly shit and actually losing muscle. So yeah, that comes back after a few weeks of eating back at maintenance with more carbohydrate. You guys can
Sweet.
answer.
I'm pretty happy with that answer.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with that as well. I think probably the only thing is the 0.5 of fat. That's a temporary minimum. Like you wouldn't want to be sitting at that year round. Just from a general health, hormone health standpoint.
I've tried it, it's messed.
Yeah, and I think
way too hard.
Another factor with aggressive mini cuts and knowing whether you're actually suited to it. So to do an aggressive deficit, obviously you're shaving a lot of food off. So if your maintenance is quite low, like let's say you're maintaining on 1,800 calories, a 30% deficit from that, there's a good chance it's probably not for you because you're really not going to be able to eat much at all. And it's going to make life pretty difficult. So I think that's worth factoring in as well. Like if
And the spread of nutrients.
For males, right?
yeah,
A lot of females, their
for
maintenance is
correct,
1,800.
Yeah.
And just like the less food you get in general, the less chance you have to cover your bases of a bunch of different nutrients that your body needs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I had something else to say, but it's just disappeared.
That seems to be the cue to move on to the next question every time.
Yeah, okay. All right, done. All right. How do I structure meals for fat loss and recovery? It's actually, how do I structure meals around training for fat loss and recovery?
It's another tricky one to give a blanket kind of answer to, and I don't think there should be.
Let's give scenarios.
Yeah.
Beginner,
Just
intermediate, advanced.
I think just general principles.
Yeah,
Like I'd
otherwise it'd
say,
be
you want to be eating like lean protein source. Like you don't want to have that coming just from one fucking meal in the day. Like you want to be getting in lean protein sources dispersed throughout the day. And you want obviously some sort of distribution of your carbs as well. And typically you want to get a good amount of carbs in before you train for the day, and then some carbs after you train as well. I think as a general rule, that's pretty solid for most people. I think some people maybe sort of analyze it a little bit too much, but I think again, general principles: protein distributed through the day, carbs before you train, some carbs after as well.
Yeah. It also depends on the type of activity. So endurance-based sports, like you're going to deplete a lot more glycogen than some other types of activity. It's extremely important if you're an endurance athlete to get carbs in right away after.
Yeah.
It's probably less important if you're not depleting as much glycogen. So that's when we start to obviously structure carbs a little bit more strictly around, activity.
Carbing up.
Yeah, carbing up before and immediately after. Yeah,
And during.
and during,
Depending on the event.
Correct. Yeah.
So the only thing that I would probably add a little bit to that, so if you're like, I guess, newer to it, and structuring your meals to sort of lean towards being a little bit more optimal in terms of the fact that you're trying to get food in before or after you train, trying to get 3 to 5 protein feedings out of the day. If that's not something that you usually do, I think what you were saying, Cam, is a good goal to work towards, but it's not something that you just click your fingers and like, all right, I'm just going to change all the times I eat, the types of foods I eat. Like, it's not something that's just going to happen straight away. So to answer the question, how do you structure it? I would just say make small steps towards what Cam was saying about spreading your food out. I don't think to structure my meals around training, maximize fat loss and recovery. So again, just going back to what we said before with fat loss, just make sure you're not doing anything crazy, and make sure you're not training crazy as well, and your recovery will be all right. Make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're doing all that sort of stuff. And as long as you're eating, a substantial amount of food an amount of food that's not, bugger all, don't go eat 1,000 calories. You'll recover, you'll lose fat, and you'll probably maintain your strength in the gym as well.
Yeah. And depending on the activity, like that kind of dictates how heavily how important it is to time carbs and stuff like that. It's still probably a good idea in a deficit because you generally have less glycogen available
and
to try and time a little bit of your carbs
as well, for hypertrophy.
Correct, yeah. A little bit around your sessions, pre and post, no matter what the activity, and the amount of that as a proportion of what you normally get in throughout the day should be kind of considered for the type of activity that you do.
And if fat loss is all good, training's all good, but recovery is a problem, so which means training's not all good, then and you're sticking to a relatively manageable amount of calories, somewhere around that 10 to 20% drop from maintenance, and recovery is not good, then there's something wrong with your program. And how much work you're doing, probably doing too much. You might work an active job, all these other sorts of things.
Sleep as well.
Sleep.
If you're sleeping 5-6 hours.
Heaps of things that can create stress,
hydration,
come from all different places, and they can affect everything that you do in the gym. Training necessary for fat loss, or can
Isn't
I rely
that cardio?
on weight training? Sorry, cardio necessary for I can't read. Cardio necessary for fat loss, or can I rely on?
No, I think this is a pretty fact-based answer, I'd say, where we know that you do not need to do any sort of exercise to lose body fat. You don't need to at all.
In just from that lens, no, you don't need to.
If we're strictly answering that question,
do you need it? No.
Should you?
Do it?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes,
100%.
So we want to be doing some cardio, even if you don't. If you're very sedentary, even just walking is just enough to just start the ball rolling. But we want to be getting the heart rate up for health, essentially. But no, it is not needed. Should we answer this question in when would we use it, and when wouldn't we use it?
Yeah, I think there's a massive, there's been this huge push over the last, few years in the fitness industry about not thinking about cardio as a fat loss route. And just our nutrition is what controls that. And, we should see cardio as just, beneficial. And that's completely fair enough. But a soccer player that trains 3 times a week and plays a game on the weekend is going to burn way more calories than somebody else. And that's still a consideration. It's still something that we take into consideration. And it's still, for people that like eating more, it's an added benefit. When I'm playing, I love eating food. When I'm playing soccer, I get to eat way more. That's just, it's a fact.
You're doing too hard training
Yeah, and I know
sessions.
the stats and the research says that our, exercise, what is it? The calories that we burn from exercise only equates to 5 to 10%. That's on average though. If you take an endurance athlete, the amount of calories they're burning from their activity is way more than that, guaranteed. So
yeah, 100%. I think if we're looking at it from just a fat loss standpoint, and I'm just going to assume that we're talking about an individual that's training to to lose fat, and they're just in the gym. They want to look good and feel good. They're not like an athlete or a competitive bodybuilder or anything like that. I would say if your strategy is to use cardio to burn fat, I would say that it's the wrong strategy. I would say that pretty much, everything you need to focus on is your nutrition. And if you are newer to the space and you're not being consistent with your lifting, and then you're going to go and try and add 2 or 3 hours a week of cardio, I would say purely for fat loss, I would say focus on your training, do less cardio. Realistically, if you go for a walk for an hour, you might burn 100 calories or something above what you would just from being alive for that hour. That's
just
really
eat a little bit less rice.
It's like 200 grams or 150 grams of Spud Light, which is like genetically modified, low calorie.
No, they're actually not genetically modified.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been lied to. I've lied to other people now.
Either way, it's just a lower calorie variety.
Right. Yeah, so they're lower starch, lower calories. So that's like a very satiating meal, right? It's like bugger all amount of food, and you've spent an hour on it. So I would actually spend that hour training, and then actually meal planning and meal prepping so that you can be consistent, doing home cooked meals. Because the difference between that hour walk or 2 hours a week of walking could be the difference in the size of trackable Guzman burrito that you get from Guzman Gomez. Sometimes you get one that's bigger, sometimes you get one that's smaller. Like that walk could go completely out the window because you went and got takeaway, which is trackable and it's quite healthy. It's got good quality foods in it. But the variance between what you might get on Tuesday versus Wednesday from the same store because someone else made it is literally that whole walk. So I would say instead of doing 2-3 hours a week of walking or jogging or whatever the hell you want to do, I would say go spend 1.5 of them meal prepping for the whole week and doing home cooked meals where you've weighed everything and you know how much is in everything. The accuracy you'll get from that will be more than the calories you'll burn in that hour and a half.
Yep.
So do the cardio for health. And unless you really, really, really enjoy it, I wouldn't worry about doing more than, 30 to an hour of, cardio a week, 30 minutes to an hour of like getting your heart rate up, not walking, like getting your heart rate up. I think can we say that's plenty or that's enough?
Yeah.
More than 30 minutes.
An hour?
Yeah. I mean, it once again.
Isn't it 2 30-minute is the recommended?
That's like the recommended.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
And minimum 6K steps, ideally 10K.
Yeah. It's just all. Yeah, that is the recommendation. Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It just like you said, it depends. Like, does this person enjoy doing it? Is 10K achievable for them? If they work a sedentary job and stuff like that, we're not going to
do 10K. I can't.
Yeah.
do 10K.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm
like,
not going to do 10K.
we're not going to hammer you if you're going through a fat loss phase to do 10K steps every single day. Like, I'll give some of my clients step targets, but if they don't hit it, it's not like, oh, you're not going to lose fat or whatever, because the big rock, the overarching thing here is your nutrition. There's a slight calorie expenditure that comes from doing cardio, and obviously there's more depending on what, like I mentioned, if you're an endurance athlete, different, but for general rule of thumb, those are the guidelines I would go based off that.
And if you're under the recommended 6K steps, then definitely implement some cardio.
That's more just a general health
definitely
recommendation rather than fat loss.
Definitely. So to answer the question, no, you don't need it. It's wise to do it for your health, but don't use it as the main strategy to lose fat. Focus on your nutrition and your training as probably the pinnacle of things to focus on when you're trying to lose fat. How do I break through this is a message I got. How do I break a fat loss plateau without cutting calories too far and wrecking my metabolism?
Number one, you're not gonna. I mean, no, you can
Let's
you
just
can.
say no. Most likely.
Yeah.
It's very rare, very, very rare that you're at a fat loss plateau and you're in a deficit.
Extremely rare.
We're talking
extremely.
It's impossible.
No, it's actually.
It's impossible.
We mentioned it.
It's
it actually is impossible.
You're not in a deficit. If you're not losing fat, you're not in a deficit. Now, there are other things like metabolic adaptation or these other sorts of things that can happen, but that just means that your maintenance calories have reduced and what you're eating is now no longer a deficit. So how would you so should we answer it based on that, or should we?
I mean, I think it's very important to understand that like we hear that word so much, like metabolic adaptation, all that kind of thing. Like, it's not as big as what we think it is. The influence isn't like your maintenance doesn't go from 1,500 calories to 3,000 calories and vice versa.
I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Your fat loss plateau is those untracked mouthfuls of food that you're eating along the way, the guesstimating that you're doing,
changes
the
in
weekend
activity
of 10 beers or 15 bloody cocktails that you had. That's your fat loss plateau. It's not you not being in a deficit.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the fat loss can definitely plateau, but yeah, again, that's just coming from not actually being in a deficit. But I think, like, obviously, the longer you spend in a deficit, like, your maintenance typically does come down. I think, and again, it's case dependent. You want to make sure you're actually checking all the boxes. But I think one useful strategy is, like, stopping the like hard deficit, bringing calories back up for a little while, just to get sort of just a semblance of more like quality of life. And then
More nutrients.
yeah, and typically with a reverse, you will see that a lot of the time maintenance calories will climb back up, and then you can spend a bit of time at maintenance and then bring calories back down.
And the funniest thing
body
is
weight
you
will come
reverse
down.
people and like they still lose weight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the main, like, I mean, I don't even know if this is on topic to this answer, but the main thing that we look for and that I try to sort of like, I guess, stop from affecting the person during the fat loss is NEAT. So, like, everyone says fidgeting and stuff, but it's just like, in the way that I see it is, when you go into a cut, you're just less likely to say yes to things as well. It's not just fidgeting and all these other sorts of things, but you're less likely to go and play ping pong with the boys because you just can't be bothered. Like, these things are going to actually drop down what your maintenance is, and your body's doing that for a reason, and that reason is because your body is trying to survive and not lose fat and wither away.
Yeah, you're more tired. You want to sleep more.
Yes.
I fully agree. Even if it's not steps, like steps isn't the only type of activity. Like, yeah, it's an easy one to measure, but like you said, like playing pickleball and doing 2,000 steps during that versus just going for a walk, like you're going to burn more doing pickleball. Do you know what I mean? Because the type of activity is more intense, it requires more energy. So,
do we classify playing ping pong with the boys as neat, like non-exercise?
No, I wouldn't say that's neat.
Like, it's hobby.
It's technically exercise. It is.
It is. Yeah, but in my
neat's more like walking
let's talk about
upstairs.
like building.
What about sanding the walls?
Sanding
last
the
night?
walls last night. My arms were going to fall off at one
Is
point,
that
man.
neat? Like, that's exercise. Your heart rate's going up. Like,
yeah.
it's not a sport.
That's not intended
No,
for
no.
the purpose of exercise, though.
That's more neat.
But I don't play ping
Yeah.
pong with the boys to exercise. I play ping pong with the boys because I say I'm better than you and I want to smash the fuck out of you.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
you're still going into it with the understanding that it's
by the way.
physical activity.
Okay, all right, let's not call it neat, but your expenditure will most likely want to drop. Subconsciously, you'll say, like, no to more things that, burn energy. So that's the number one thing that I would focus on. Anyway, that was completely off. I just read the question again. It's completely off that question. I don't even know if I should say this one. The fastest, most sustainable way to go from average to athletic. And I think they mean athletic by visually athletic, not cardio sport, field sport athletic.
Okay. Subjective as.
Yeah, so just go from average to I look like I lift. That's how I'm going to think of that question.
Super basics, like nail your nutrition, recover well, train hard. Don't overcomplicate it. Like, there's nothing different to that, to what that person has asked and what that person is chasing. To most people that train in the gym and just want to build muscle, look stronger, and go do a cut to look a little bit leaner. Like, if we're saying like athletic, I guess somewhat leanish, building muscle, it's the same principles across the board. So I don't think there's anything different or like a magic answer that's different to any of that.
The answer's in a vial, I think.
Yeah.
Fastest way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so the fastest and most sustainable way. So obviously these things don't happen overnight. Like we said before, as I was saying before, like build a muscle, and your gym journey is a journey of 5 to 20 odd years or whatever, probably even longer. So I would say the most sustainable way is just to be consistent. It's sustainable as well to have guidance. someone that can sort of stop you from doing things that you might be digging yourself a hole with, or cutting for too long, or doing too much volume, or whatever it is. Having some guidance, doing things consistently over time. So in not looking at it like, all right, in the next 3 months I'm going to click my fingers, I'm going to be jacked. It's like just every week, every month, every year, just tick boxes. Train, eat well. Don't worry if you don't eat well for a day here and there. Just stay consistent, stay focused, and be a human being as well. All right, don't fully Tupperware yourself unless you're a bodybuilder, but just be consistent over time. And the reason I add that in as well is because if you Tupperware yourself straight off the bat, you're new to lifting, or you're like, I'm just assuming average, they're newer to lifting, you might burn yourself out too soon. So generally, people build themselves into bodybuilders. They don't just like click their fingers one day and they're like, yep, I'm going to eat from a Tupperware container. I'm going to sleep 8 hours. I'm going to train for 3 hours. I'm going to get a coach. I'm going to work a part-time or whatever job so that I can do all of these sorts of things. It doesn't just happen overnight. These people gain skills over time and they become the person that can be a bodybuilder. So to sustainably take small steps towards not Tupperware stuff. Be a human being, enjoy your life, and also focus on your training and all that sort of stuff. If you can enjoy life as well, you'll probably train hard. You'll probably eat good. You'll probably be happy. And don't get better results.
Compare yourself to others. We know that a large component of our progress in the gym, hypertrophy and strength is dictated by genetics. So comparing ourselves to others will just confuse us and make us think that we're not doing the right thing when a lot of the time we are. But the person next to us has a better genetic profile for, we could be on the same program, same nutrition plan, and they just see quicker progress.
Anthea says to me, she's like, would you, the way that, because like I compare myself to other people all the time, like, fuck, I want to be, because I'm competitive.
Human nature.
I'm powerlifting, I'm competitive. We all do it. We try not to, but I'm like, I want to be that big so that I can be stronger than that guy there, right? Would you tell for the listeners out there that aren't coaches, would you tell your mum who's trying any of the stuff that you're telling yourself, or would you tell yourself or your client something that you're telling yourself? So would you say to your client, why didn't we get that extra bit of muscle over the last 6 months? That other person did. Like, no, never say that to your mother or your client or a good friend of yours, but we say it to ourselves. So our stories we tell ourselves are definitely much harsher. And everyone, I guess, compares themselves to other people to an extent. But I don't think that this should be at all, it definitely shouldn't be the focus at all.
I want to throw a curveball to your depends answers.
Go hard.
Well, if we're talking about athletic, most people would associate that with someone who's like relatively lean.
Abs, I'd say.
If it's a male body, probably a V taper would be like the biggest thing where someone would think, that person's athletic. So I guess if you're wanting that kind of look, probably emphasizing like lats, delts, pecs will help with that quote unquote athletic look, and then obviously being at a level of body fat where you've got abs or whatever it is would probably help as well. So I guess for a more concrete answer,
how do you zoom out to the whole question and just how do you actually, this guy just zooms out and he'll take the entire picture of everything and he'll nail everything that we missed on it so perfectly. For me, it's
just make us sound shit.
I zoom into the certain part of the topic, but then I miss holy shit, you should definitely be focusing on specific muscle groups. I don't understand how you're so good at that.
I've got a very sick mind.
Everyone catches different words in a question though.
Yeah, but every question you've zoomed out and you've been yep, this and this though.
Well, I think if you're trying to if I try and understand what it is they're actually asking or what they actually mean by athletic, I would say most people would associate looking athletic with those traits. So if there's if you want that look, that's probably something that'll help you get there. Not that doesn't mean that it's not going to take time and you don't need to do the right things, but
don't. I mean, this might be too extreme, but don't just run 5 times a week. Lift weights.
Sure.
You want to look athletic, build some muscle, have some abs. Lift some weights. You don't, do your exercises, something that's not specific to what the outcome should be. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No,
any more, you reckon you zoom out even further?
So thinking about
it surprises me every time.
You're getting him excited, bro.
All right. We've got a few more. How are we going with time, Lockie?
Go as long as you want.
I want to answer them all.
Yeah. Well, what? Yeah.
We'll cut out the vending machine chat. That'll
That'll
Yeah.
be 10 minutes.
skim 10 minutes
So
off.
we can't cut it out now because he's going to have to cut this out as well. There's going to be like, what's the vending machine?
Nah, people never know.
It's staying in. I'm skipping that one. They're not even questions. Any thoughts on opening another gym?
Ooh.
That's
So many people
my
thought.
answer, isn't it?
So many people thought that the man cave was the second gym.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen.
Like any thoughts on it? Yeah, I always have thoughts on it, but like I don't really want to do it, to be honest with you. Like we've got it good here. Everything's great. I'm already on my toes as it is as a business owner, and I wouldn't want to add another, I guess, facility, another lot of employees, another lot of bills to pay, another lot of everything at the moment. So yeah, I guess the goal is to just take HUSLA to a slightly larger location at some point, and continue doing what we're doing here, just at a slightly larger location.
Yeah.
I would prefer to have just a little bit of a bigger location as we grow. So this space is great for us, but we're looking to hire in HUSLA Media. We're about to run an internship for that guy. Actually, you know what? It's a good time to think of it. If you guys are out there, we are looking essentially for a couple of interns. We've had 27 people apply, and we've just sent out like a document for people to answer a bunch of questions so we can get a feel for the person. We're going to be taking 2 or 3 of them. So if you guys are interested, let us know, and we will send you that link as well. But
Exciting times.
it is exciting times, yeah. So a slightly larger location so we can have a little bit more office space so that we can grow the media side of things so that you can hire. I know that you're sort of thinking about hiring
Yep.
someone
Yeah,
at the
same.
moment as well.
We'll call that out as well. Plug it a bit. If you are a healthcare practitioner that is obsessed with the industry and you love helping people get out of pain and back to performance, please message me. I'd love to.
Do they have to be a healthcare practitioner right now? Can they be just fresh out of uni or fresh out of study?
Well, obviously they can't be studying because you won't be able to practice.
Yep.
But if you've just finished, still keen to chat for sure.
Yeah. What are you looking for in those people? So like you said that they're crazy about it, they love it, they want to bring people back to...
I honestly, to be honest, I don't want that to influence how people present themselves. I want them to be themselves. So I'm actually going to not answer.
What do you mean?
I want people to come to me as themselves, and when I chat to them,
Yeah, no, but you're looking for someone who's keen to learn.
Yeah. Look, general stuff like
They
if we're
live in
talking less,
Melbourne
yeah,
or
okay,
willing to live in
sorry.
Melbourne?
So I thought you meant like more specific as an actual practitioner.
No.
Because there are definitely things that align with my brand and the business that I'm looking for. But I guess the most important thing is someone that is a good person at heart, an empathetic person that is willing to go above and beyond for clients. And I think that's so important in this industry. If you don't have that, you're already so far behind the 8 ball that you're just not gonna. I don't think, from my perspective at least, you're just not going to have as much of a chance.
You won't care to respond to that message at 7
Yeah.
p.m. about, hey, my knee's playing up again,
Yeah.
and spend
Correct.
3 minutes with them. If you don't
Correct.
if you don't give a shit, you don't give a shit.
So all in, empathetic, really kind of patient-centered focus, eager to learn, like really eager to learn and eager to invest in their learning.
Experience level not needed.
Experience, I'm not really. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rich to say because, I mean, this is, I was probably less experienced than some people before I opened my business, but I think it was for the clients that I've helped and worked with, I think it was the best thing for me and them. So experience, I don't really care too much about. I think that would be rich for me to say.
You'd be training this person up. You'd be teaching.
Yeah,
them the
correct.
ropes, taking them under
100%,
your wing, showing them
100%.
how you guys do things
For sure.
So experience level is not like if you're newer or you're not even in the space just yet, or you're going to be in the space in a month or two. Reach out.
Definitely, yeah. I like at least just shoot me a message, just have a chat, just connect. And even if it doesn't work out here, like it's just good to have that network. That's probably one of the biggest things actually you taught me, is to just build relationships with people in the industry. Like you want other people to lean on at times. You might open up a practice. You might decide like, I don't really want to work with someone. I want to open up my own practice straight up, which is so fair enough. but you might have tricky cases and you might want a friend's opinion on something. And, I do that with plenty of people like Dan and James from Evolve, Jordan, my physio. I've asked them, Leroy that used to train here, dude, we used to have hour-long conversations about current cases of my clients in the gym, because it's silly to think that you're going to know everything, and getting other people's opinions on such a crazy difficult thing to navigate in rehab is so important. So create that connection, reach out. I'd love to.
They're also in business as well. Like the lone wolf doesn't survive. Like you need to have your relationships around. So, shoot that message regardless. Yep. Even if you're like, oh, it's probably not me. Like reach out, build a relationship. It's good to know other people in the space.
I don't buy it.
You know what? I'm going to go back to that question soon. Because we didn't actually even touch on what we're looking for, Lockie. Lockie's behind the mic as well.
I'm here.
So we're happy to have people inquire with no experience. They haven't been a videographer before, or they haven't done photography before. Essentially, the main thing that we're looking for is eagerness to learn and be a part of what we're doing here at HUSLA. But they're probably like the two main things. Would you say, Lock?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
everything else can be taught.
With this industry, learning to edit, how to push the buttons or how to operate a camera is simply a matter of process. Anyone can be taught these things, but there's the separation comes from understanding how to communicate with people, what they want, what their vision is with the kind of videos they want to create, and your creativity absolutely is a huge thing, and that's, I think, the most important part. And as you said, Swan, it's being eager, being committed, because if you're passionate about it, you can learn anything.
And something that you're really good at that I think would suit, correct me if I'm wrong, but striking that balance between what you as a creator think is best, but then also the person on the other side of the camera, what they think is going to work. You don't come in and tell us exactly every single thing to do and say. But when there's times for you to be like, nah, I think this is going to work better, it's the best. It's that healthy mix of both, because we don't see things from your lens and you don't see things from our lens. So blending the two is so important. And I think that's, why you're so good at what you do.
Look, taking feedback is also a massive part of what I do. And as editors and videographers, we got into it because we wanted to create stuff. But when you make it a job, you create this stuff for other people. So you need to learn how to use your skills in how to bring the ideas to life, but also accept that you're making something that somebody else wants, and their vision is going to be different to yours, and how you align both of those. Because you could be a gun at making videos, but if you can't listen to how people want their videos made, you'll never get clients. They won't be happy with.
You might have a better video, but it's not what they wanted.
Yeah. It's also being able to adapt.
We'll fire you as well. No.
All right.
I think if that all that little bit of conversation there sounded like something that was interesting to you, and ears are popping up a little bit, reach out. There's probably some people that were in your position as well, where you're like, I don't know, I think I'm done with videography. If you feel like you do some stuff, or you used to do some stuff, but you don't really see a career out of it, just shoot us the message, because our job is to create that career for you. And whether you believe you can do it or not, if we believe you can do it and it's something that you want to do, we'll make that happen for you, essentially. So reach out.
In such an awesome environment. The best.
You're all right.
We can't talk it up too much, because how good it is going to sound like a fucking wank on here.
It's the best.
So going back to the original question, which has felt like an eternity ago. The original question was thinking about opening another gym. No, my answer was not really. Unless you're out there and you want to open up another HUSLA, I'm always, like we said before, always open to conversation about it. Don't hold back. If you G me up, maybe we can make something work, but you got to run that side. Anyway, so no, slightly bigger gym, because we want to expand what we do here as well, and we're going to need a little more space up here. Plus, although we've got every machine that we need from everyone else's opinion except mine, I want to get a few extra ones as well.
That's what I was going to say. I reckon
the
main reason the gym needs to expand is because you're going to keep buying machines.
Yeah,
and I think
the gym is spacious enough.
Yeah, and what makes the gym so special is that it is HUSLA Gym. It's it's not HUSLA Gyms. It's not it's not your typical chains. It's like that one special space where a lot of us come, the members or the staff and stuff, and we all know each other. It's a great community, and I would hate to. It's your choice, your business, but I would hate to see that split.
I feel like
Sad.
I could be wrong here. Yeah, I've never delved into that part of business where I'm partnering with someone else that's going to run that side. But I feel like quality would drop off. I could be wrong, but I just don't feel like people are going to give enough of a shit as we do, and sort of replicate the high standard that I have and we have for the space and how we treat people, and like creating that environment. I don't know. So and that worries me as well. So, but anyway, yeah. If you want to open up a Hustler Gym, just shoot me a message and we can have a chat. You might change my mind. Your favorite workout split? We sort of answered that. I mean, favorite. It's slightly different.
Just one word answer. Mine's upper lower.
Upper lower for me.
My favorite is, it changes all the time. My favorite's the one that gets me the results, whether I enjoy it or not. It's
Give me a favorite. What do you fucking like
but I've
best?
really
That is
enjoyed-
Jace's
I've
favourite
enjoyed-
result.
I've enjoyed-
Favourite at the moment.
I'll tell you. There is none. So
It's A, B, C, or D.
because this is a good answer as well, because things change, right? I've enjoyed SBD on one day, and then having like 2 upper days and a lower day. I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed other times where I'm doing bro splits. I've really enjoyed that, and then I've enjoyed other days where I'm just doing upper lower, and then I've enjoyed other days where I'm just doing full body. Whatever. So yeah, this is what I was going to say before as well. Like, I forgot it again.
Next question.
You were loading up there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So good.
Nah, so I want to do something that I enjoy. That changes for me over time, but as well as what the optimal training is what I was saying before. The optimal training. I forgot it again.
Yeah, we're just talking
Go to the
preference,
next one.
not optimal. Just
I fully
preference.
forgot it.
Let's go.
Next.
No.
next
Sorry,
question.
I've got it. You for me, and depending, you gotta work this out for yourself. Depending on what.
Yeah, it's your favorite.
No. I'm going back to the other question. I don't even remember which one it is. But depending on how do I keep forgetting it?
Hustle Gym 2.0. Hustle Gym 2.0.
I have ADHD.
it's the cue.
I have
2.5
ADHD.
carbs.
It's the cue to move on.
Yeah. No, so some people will want to do something in the gym that will get them the results regardless whether they enjoy it or not. Other people want to do stuff in the gym that they enjoy doing that also gets them some results. I lean more so towards doing things that will get me the results, whether I like it or not. So there's a fair amount of shit in my program I don't fucking like at all. And I think that would definitely dictate how you would set up your training program and what's optimal and ideal for you.
Yeah, favorite, but not.
No,
optimal
this isn't
though.
that question. It's the other one. What's the best training split or whatever?
Pause. Zigzags.
Yeah, I know, going back because I forgot it before, remember? And so I think it's important to, one, work that out, but two, also just understand that there might be some shit that, like, if you want to be a big squatter and you don't like doing hack squats, pendulums, leg extensions, and you only like low bar squatting, maybe you got to do some shit you don't enjoy doing. So same thing with your training split. Maybe it's a little less than what you like, but it'll get you more results. Ask yourself, do you want the results more than you want to do everything that you enjoy? Because there's probably a split of like, I'll do 20% of shit I don't like to get the results, and I'll do 80% of the shit I do like. Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I get enjoyment from like getting through a session that has, you guys program my exercises, and I don't hate anything that I do, but some of the exercises are hard and they're a grind, and I don't look forward to doing them, but the enjoyment that I get and the favorite feeling that I get is knowing after the session's done that I've put in the right work.
Yeah.
I'm just
I enjoy that.
Yeah, like I'd love to train chest every day, but
Yeah. I'm sort of like,
Upper lower.
yeah, upper lower.
Next question. Fucking-
Upper lower chest.
it's sort of like
I know
slightly tailored towards the people that want everything to be perfect and what they enjoy and what they like, to the point where they don't end up progressing because they're not doing the things that they need to do. Anyway. For Marcus, what was actually easier than you thought during ACL recovery? So Mark said his ACL reattach. What else did you have?
I had a ACL graft, a meniscus repair, and a lateral tenodesis, which is just where they cut your IT band, which is the thing on the little flicky thing on the side of your knee, and they reattach part of it to a different part of your knee to just improve the structural stability of it into rotation. So,
He's still recovering?
Yeah, still recovering. Yeah, definitely. Absolute ginormous surgery. Lots of trauma to the knee, 6 weeks crutches. And on that, I I'm going to say like from before the surgery, during the 6 weeks on crutches, and even maybe my first 2 days off crutches, I thought walking was going to be the hardest thing ever. My first 2 steps off crutches, I cramped. My calf cramped. So I was allowed to put 50% of my weight through my right leg while I was on crutches, so I could actually use my right leg a little bit, but I think I was doing less than that out of protection, just subconsciously. So I think as I went to actually like use, 100% of my whatever I need to walk, it just wasn't ready. Like it just didn't feel like it was ready. And I was like, man, I am in for it here. Like learning to walk again is going to kill me. But within, I think a week, I was like at work doing steps up and down the stairs every day. So walking became like this thing that I just thought was going to be so hard. And, you hear all the time, you're going to have to learn to walk again. And I'm like, yeah, shit. Like I've never actually had to do that and I've worked with clients with that, and everyone's a little bit different. But for me, I think just based off that context, I was like, it's going to be a tough one for me. But I think I just, you distract yourself. You just do it like without even thinking, because you just have to, like you're just working and stuff. And I was good.
Can I add to that, and you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like this would vary for most people. You can correct me at this part if I'm wrong, but I've seen other ACL reconstruction and recoveries happen where they're in the splint for 10 weeks and they're not actually walking on it. They're crutching, no weight on that leg.
Oh, that's cross bracing.
Is that still common?
Yeah, so that's called the cross bracing method. Look, you can come out of an ACL surgery and they will like brace you and to keep
knee straight.
Yeah. But then they also, what people like get mixed up, because they see some people on crutches with a knee brace like locked into certain angles. So it's called the cross bracing method. It's actually not. It's a non-surgical pathway, and it only suits certain tears.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not sure
Do you want to
exactly.
keep banging on about that?
No. Yeah. Well, just so people know, like it's you're pretty much locked in a brace for 12 weeks, and I think it's at each 2-week interval, the angle changes until you can, extend the knee. And that's just to let that ACL try and reheal itself in a,
non-surgical
fashion. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. Like it's common, like some surgeons will brace after surgery. Some don't. Some just say, avoid weight bearing crutches for a little bit longer, this and that. But yeah, I'm not sure about like 10 weeks in a brace. I think that's probably too much from what I've never actually heard of a 10-week, but I do know there is a brace period for some, yeah.
So I know that you went to like a pretty like hectic surgeon. You worked with some physios that were pretty solid.
Still do. Jordan, the best.
Yep. New age, like up to date with the new research, not like textbook smart, like real world smart, and still learning sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I guess the sort of angle that I'm coming from is like hearing Mark's answer that walking was a lot easier than you thought it would be. You did rehab in the most ideal, without obviously the fact that you were still working most of the time, but you did it in the most proper way. There would be people that go and get their ACLs done, they're braced, knee straight, no weight bearing on it for a period of time. Walking could actually be messed up for them.
Yeah.
So I guess we're sort of just like leading the conversation into like, make sure you get yourself a good surgeon and a good physio to work with, because like what your experience with that might be complete opposite for someone else who may have had a slightly less optimal recovery or
like if you go to a surgeon that's just got no idea how to handle an ACL that is going off crutches and no brace versus brace and no crutches, or crutches with the brace, the management is different. The things that you'll struggle with are different. So
what's best?
What do you mean?
What's like the best, the most ideal way to do it is, like, I would assume, provided that you didn't have a whole bunch of other ligaments and stuff that got annihilated, or
like the meniscus. The meniscus is what put me 6 weeks in crutches. So my surgeon told me, is like, you've got a meniscus tear in there. If I need to repair it, I will. If I don't need to repair it, it'll be 2 weeks on crutches, and then you're walking. If not, it's 6. Yep. And I was like, oh, please God. But the moment I woke up, he's like, I repaired it. And I was like...
But still, you were allowed to weight bear after 2 weeks 50% on that leg?
50% the whole time.
Yeah, so you exposed that leg to, a very light style of gait or walking or whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
So
my surgeon actually explained why he wanted that. So he's like, it's going to be less protective, yes, but... the problem that you run into when you come out of surgery, you've been in crutches for 6 weeks and you've told to 0% weight bear on that leg, then walking actually makes your recovery a lot harder. Because then I imagine...
Way more atrophy as well, yeah.
Way more atrophy. And I imagine it would be even harder than, what I thought walking would be to get back to. So this is why it's so important to find a surgeon who actually cares or has a track record of caring and getting good results. For me, good results comes from caring a lot of the time.
Can they ask you if they're not sure? Like,
of course,
can you
yeah.
recommend a bunch of surgeons? Or
For
whatever?
sure, yeah, 100%. I know a few. Like I had multiple people give me recommendations on surgeons and stuff, and the one that I went with was David Syme. He worked kind of exclusively with like EPL players, so English Premier League players, and he was like one of the top surgeons in the UK, working at Fortius Clinic, which is like won a UEFA Excellence Award, which is like UEFA is like the governing body of European football, soccer. So yeah, like that was, I thought this guy's worked with professional soccer players. I'm a soccer player. I want to get back to soccer. I prefer a quad graft based on that. I know a lot of Aussie surgeons love hammy grafts. I've had some issues with my hammy in the past. Like I just didn't want to go down that route. And based on some of the combos I had with some experienced practitioners as well, like Geordie, my physio, and Dan and James, who were all unbelievably helpful throughout the whole process, that was the conclusion I came to. So heaps to consider. So the biggest thing there is actually ask the people who have done this before, ask the people who are professionals in that space for their advice and get multiple opinions, and then based off that, make a call.
And we can say that they can reach out to you if they have any questions or they've just done their ACL and they need some advice or something like that. Yeah,
for sure. I'll direct you in the right direction, I guess.
Very cool. So walking was the thing that you overestimated in difficulty and was actually not that much harder.
Yep.
So we've got 3 more questions. Sorry, someone's calling me. In your opinion, what's the most effective accessory for bench? If you had to pick one, I'm going to name the person. I know your answer. I know, Josh, I know yours is overhead press with a barbell. I just know it. Yeah, do I have to say the question again? In your opinion, what's the most effective accessory for bench if you had to pick one? I'll let you take the lead. Accessory.
Jeez. I'd probably be tied. I'd probably lean towards like an incline press. But I'd be somewhat tied between an incline and an overhead press. Again, I typically wouldn't only have like one other accessory in there. Well, depending on the time of year, but I would say incline or overhead.
Yeah, I'm going to answer it in my own standard fashion with a slight, like it depends. So I'll give just a rough framework, something that you can train through a full range of motion with. But you can get some contractor position because on bench press we're very much in the stretch position, super wide. So something like a converging press. Now that can be a dumbbell press, that can be a converging machine press, or anything along those lines that you train close to accessory.
Yeah, it's an
bench.
accessory.
Yeah, so I'm sort of answering it from like a building the pec muscle standpoint.
Yeah, but that's a large goal of an accessory movement to build more tissue so that you can.
Provided that your technique is really good on bench press and you're a gun at bench pressing, you're doing your, say you do 3 presses a week competition style, the accessory outside of that, I would lean towards something hypertrophic, something with a full range of motion, something taken close to failure, something with more than 6 reps in the tank, 6 to 10 rep range, hard, big range of motion, with some contractor position in there as well, just for some variation. That would probably be what I lean towards, and that could be, as I said before, dumbbell press, converging press, those sorts of things. Even like not non-converging, but like a mid-grip press if you really like the barbell, which is crazy if you do after 3 benches a week. That's where I would go with that.
I'm going to come from my typical rehab lens and practitioner lens. I think
something with a reach.
Like literally protract, so reach the shoulder blade forwards and upwards and upwardly rotate.
Fucking fair enough.
Protract and upwardly rotate against load and get that actually strong and treat it like a normal exercise, because if you bang up your joints, AC joints and all that kind of thing because of a lack of exposure to these movements, you'll be out of bench pressing at your higher capacity for a long time, or depending, sometimes a long time. And yeah, I think longevity is important. Staying in it and being able to progress for as long as you can is important, and that's the thing that I see so many of these things here working with these populations.
It's keeping you like with bookings, right? I'm actually like full on with you for that, but I want you to explain to them why they should reach and why your answer is that.
So if we think about a lot of the stuff that we do in the gym,
it seems like powerlifting focus.
Okay, yeah, cool. Even more, even more pronounced for SBD. A lot of it is like a locked shoulder blade back down position. I guess, you know, when you deadlift, it's a little bit different, but a lot of extension and retraction. And we know that our joints just don't like being in the same position all the time. Our joints love going through a full range of motion, and that's something that I try to do with all my rehab patients. It's just explain to them that every joint loves to move. If it's made to move in a direction, let's get it strong there. Let's keep it strong there. And your body will default to the thing that it's strongest at. And if all you're doing is retracting and depressing your shoulder blades all the time under load, rib cage up in a flared position,
locked.
Correct. It's going to make it a lot harder for your joints to feel nice. So if we can balance the scales there, and it doesn't really take that much, it really doesn't. So if we can balance the scales there with the opposite end of the spectrum of movement, get some protraction, get some upward rotation under load, it's going to keep you in the game for longer and keep you progressing at a faster rate because you're not battling niggles all the time.
Or getting injured and having to stop bench press.
Exactly right.
I think also as well as joints, like the muscles, the forgotten about muscles of the shoulder, like the two main ones that you can correct me here, but I reckon the two main ones, serratus, lower trap. They just don't. They don't get nothing. Like there's a little, probably, I would say it's very minimal isometric contraction in bench press because you're locked so far back. You're just trying to get them so far back. Like they're not doing much. These things need to move through a range of motion, right? Like if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So they can be really good and really strong in this extended benching position. But we know that for good shoulder function, to get good range of motion, to do the overhead presses and do all these sorts of things, we need upward rotation, we need posterior tilt of the scapula, we need shoulder flexion.
Yes, I can't even.
Provided that they're not just extending.
Yeah, 100%. I can't remember who my client was. It was one of the
powerlifters with shoulder problems.
For sure, it was one of the but it was one of the patients. One of the members here at the gym, AC joint issues, bench pressing. He was a powerlifter. Had pain for a while, came and saw me, started doing a little bit of loaded reaching, plus some other stuff, I assume. I can't actually remember, but I just remember checking in with him, and he was like, man, my bench is moving quicker now than it was, because you're still using those muscles when you press as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because they're in a position where they're not going to work as much, like they still contribute to the movement. So getting them strong and having a nice, your lower trap plays a massive part in holding a nice position of the shoulder blade too. So if we're talking about being in a nice rigid position when you bench and stuff, it's going to help.
Yeah, there's only so much bench press that you can do in a week, and generally we sort of see people and we limit people's bench press based on negative outcomes from bench pressing more. So e.g., like we'll use me as a good example. Like I need to do more serratus lower trap, need to train my external rotators, just general strength around the shoulder and scap T-spine region. So I limit my bench press the amount of sets that I can do before my shoulder hurts. Can I do more bench press and get stronger at bench press if I can do more sets because my shoulder doesn't hurt? I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
1,000,000%.
I've been doing like 2 to 3 in comp prep, 2 to 3, maybe 4 sets of bench press in a week, right? And my shoulder's always the first thing that's starting to go, how you going? What's going on here? Stop. So I limit the amount of sets I can do in bench press. I would probably most likely say that I would respond better to doing 6 to 10 sets of bench a week, but I actually can't. So your answer is actually spot on. A good accessory for the person that most people, but let's say there's someone that's seriously like affecting their strength in bench press because they've got this shoulder or whatever it is, and they need to do some reaching. The best accessory for them would be to do that reaching, that press with a reach, because they'll be able to probably do more sets, progress faster, get injured less, and as well what you said before, progressing faster because you have niggles, yeah, cool, whatever, but hurting your shoulder and stopping pressing heavy and stuff for 3 months, you lose the 3 months of where you could have been. Then you got to spend 3 months getting back to where you were. Then you spend 3 months getting back to that. You lose 9 months.
Yep.
So you don't want to get injured. You don't want to get niggles. So if that exercise is ideal for that person.
Yep, definitely.
Anyway, very, very good answer. Very good answer. This one's a very good one. Ways to handle a busy schedule, 12 to 15 hour days, and keep training consistently.
Short, sharp sessions. Probably Yeah, so probably, again, obviously 12 to 15 hours, massive days. So
Huge.
You don't want to overcommit with training like 6 days a week if you're just absolutely sizzled. But your sessions will probably need to be a lot shorter and contain less volume than what you used to. But again, something's 100 times better than nothing. I would say, depending on the movements you're doing, like supersets would definitely be useful just from a time conservation standpoint. Again, probably not going from like a squat into a bench press in supersets, but if it's accessory movements, machines, I think supersets are a good way to go. And yeah, I think just being comfortable with doing a lot less than what you normally do, but potentially more sessions.
Yep. You want to go? Because I've got a bit to say.
All right. I got kind of like two things to mention here. One is something is better than nothing. I'm talking if you get Sundays off and you really love the gym and you really want to get to the gym, but you've got the all or nothing mindset about it. Like if you're not doing it to the normal capacity that you would do, you're not going to see any benefit. We know from the research that one hard set is enough to maintain muscle and strength a week, which is nothing. Like one full
hard set.
Like a set that is close to failure.
How close?
It'd be like a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
Depending
I'm
on
sure
the
it was
movement,
9. I think it was like
yeah.
one RIR. So
one
rep left in the tank. Like imagine that. Like if you're like, all right, I'm in this period right now where I need to work 12 to 15 hours a day or whatever it is for the next 3-6 months, whatever it is. But I can get to the gym on a Sunday. It's my day off. I love going to the gym. I'm going to go train for an hour and I'm going to hit every muscle group once for one hard set. And then when you come out of it, you're not like so far back that it's so hard to get back into it. You've actually maintained, you might not maintain everything. Like, even though the research says that, you might not do every single set to one RIR or whatever, but you're going to maintain way more than if you'd done nothing. And that's going to make it easier to get back to it. And that's my second point is see the light at the end of the tunnel and understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's actually not as far as what you think it is. Because a lot of the time, these 12 to 15 hour days aren't, general rule of thumb here, aren't going to last forever. There's going to be a time where you're back into it. Yeah. So just ride the wave. It's a shit wave, but ride it, and then just get yourself there.
I've got
Slam's got one other point. If feasible, it might be worth investing in some equipment for your home as well. Like if your gym's 20 minutes from your house, you're working 12-hour shifts or more, and then going from work to the gym and then back home adds another 40 minutes to your day in the commute. Like it's probably worth just getting like a simple setup at home, maybe some dumbbells or a barbell or a rack or whatever it is, to conserve time, because obviously time's pretty scarce as well.
Yeah. So I think to sort of touch on what Cam said as well, choose a gym close to home. I'm going to assume that this person is employed. Well, I know that this person is employed, but if you're employed, I'm going to
I'd love to know what they're doing if they're not.
Well, running a business. So there's a few things I want to say, and it's deep down the business side of things essentially. But if you're employed doing 12 to 15 hours a day, and that's 12 to 15 hours at work, that's pretty hectic. Like that's a lot. If you're doing it because you're financially stressed and you want to make money and stuff, that's awesome. I'm all for people giving it a red hot go. First, I would evaluate whether how high is this on your priority list to train versus to work, because it's rare that a boss is going to expect you to do 15 or 12 to 15 hours straight for them. I don't know if OT is like, I don't believe OT is like, I don't think you can enforce OT on someone.
Some industries are like 12-hour shifts standard, depending on the industry, but like a lot of the people who do night work, it's 12-hour shifts. FIFO workers, obviously that's a little bit different, but that's 12-hour shifts as well.
Yep.
So 12 hours can be industry standard. Not obviously not really, maybe in an office context if you're in law or something, but for like some shift workers it is standard. I think even at hospitals, I think they're 12-hour shifts too.
So I also believe when you're working for that long, that 12 to 15 hours, I believe you're entitled to at least an hour break throughout the day, whether it's split up into 4 law, 4 15-minute breaks or whatever it is. But I would try hard to negotiate with your boss or manager or whoever it is to see if you can take that break at one point in time so that you can get off to a gym close by and train if you really wanted to. So if you could take an hour, go train for half an hour, awesome. if it's something that you're doing voluntarily, as I was saying before, evaluate like how much of a priority is it for you to lift and get stronger in powerlifting, for example, or bodybuilding or whatever, or just looking good and feeling good, versus making the extra few $100, and try and negotiate, if you can, to not do a 15-hour day, at least for a couple of times a week, so you can get into the gym. Now, weekends are going to be good times for you to get into the gym and train. And if you are self-employed or you're doing a side hustle, I know for myself, there are a lot of times where I'm downstairs and, you know, it might look like I'm just on my phone, but I'm actually doing messaging people whilst I train. Sometimes I got my laptop down there.
Machines.
Sussing
machines.
Well, yeah. So a lot of the Hustle Lifting e-commerce store is messaging and moving things from A to B to C to get them to certain places so that we can send them off to customers, make sure that things are there on time. These are things I can do on my phone. If I'm doing the ads and stuff, I sometimes take my laptop down and I do the ads between my sets. If it's something that you can do work-wise, that you don't need to be at work for, if you're employed, try and negotiate that with your boss. Say, look, like, honestly, like, I don't know how other bosses, I'm sure there's some fuckers out there, but I would be happy to be like, yeah, as long as you get your work done, you can go and train for an hour and just do those phone calls when you can and whatever. If you're self-employed, try to find the task that you do on your phone or your laptop or somewhere where you can get that into a gym, so you can do it between your sets. This is something that I've needed to do as well. And then at the same time, I also have this thing where I feel like I need to be working all the time, being productive, ticking off tasks, because my enjoyment, my happiness comes from completing certain tasks, right? That's just the nature of Jason, right? So for me, there was also an element of, I'm just doing shit because I feel I need to do shit. But what if I just don't do it for a couple of hours and I actually just go and train? Will I be all right? Maybe I'll be happier. Feeling like I'm doing things better. Maybe the next day I'll be more productive at work. So make sure that your productivity is spot on for those 12 to 15 hours. If it's not, chop them down, be more productive and get your sessions in. You'll feel happier, you'll feel better about yourself. If you're employed, try and negotiate that hour break. Train close to home or close to work. Try live close to work as well if you can as well. And then use the weekends to train also. And if you're doing 12 to 15 hours a day, most likely, I'm going to go ahead and say your sleep is affected, because 15 hours a day leaves you 9 hours left to go home, get home, eat, wake up in the morning, get ready for the next day. So 9 hours worth of getting home, doing your shit at home, going to sleep and waking up. Most likely you're getting 6 hours of sleep. Most likely your productivity, we know this, sleep can affect how our brain can function and how well it can function, essentially. So I would say try to prioritize your sleep and be more productive throughout the day, so that you can do that 12 to 15 hours of work in 10 to 12 hours of work, so you can have more time to train, relax, and actually get more sleep in as well. I think I've sort of covered everything that I want.
Actually, you go.
The last thing I was going to say is, I know that this might sound rich coming from a 29-year-old, but there are other jobs out there too. If this job is unsustainable for you and you've assessed your priorities amongst training, your relationships with your family, your partner, and things that you want to do in your life as well, and then versus earning the money doing the 12 to 15 hour days every day, if you've assessed that, and training is a higher priority than that specific job, there will be higher paying jobs out there. There are things you can do as well to earn more money if it's purely from a financial standpoint that you're working there. And if you feel that you're locked into a job with an employer who needs you to work 12 to 15 hours, I would say if it's unsustainable and that doesn't look like it's going to change, then find a new job, start a business, or find a new business, or change things in the business. I know for the online store, for me, it was about actually reducing how much we're spending on ads, so we weren't selling as many products so that it could be more sustainable. These sorts of things reduced how many emails were coming through and all that sort of stuff. So it just reduced how much time I needed to spend on it, so you can spend time in other areas and all that sort of stuff. So if you're self-employed and you need to find a new role or whatever it is, find a new place to work. If you're employed, go looking for another job. If your priority is to train, spend time with the family, and feel good about life and earn enough money, you can always go out there and find a new role. Yep.
Just to tie it off, I think a very important thing to remember for anyone out there that's going through a really busy period of work that's getting in the way of training is that it's super, super common. It's normal. We all go through it. So it's
especially these days. Everything's so
exactly
expensive.
right. If you're trying to, you know, put down a lot of money on a deposit for a house, or, you know, just hustle for a bit. It's normal. I've got a client that I'm coaching at the moment, regularly, like 4 sessions a week, cardio as well, smashes everything, fills in everything on the spreadsheets, like just an absolute gun. This month, he said he runs a business. He's like, it's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be like 12 to 14 hour days nonstop. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do this. I'm like, sweet. We're going to make an October block where it's so like low expectation. Just get in and do what you feel like doing. We jumped on a call. We went through a bunch of exercises that he enjoys the most, that he finds that he'd be able to get done the most after a 12 to 14 hour day, and literally just get yourself through. Because at the end of that month, you're back to normal. Like I said, light at the end of the tunnel.
Aside from having, like, obviously the support to be able to do that and trust in the fact that what you've recommended to him is the right thing to do, aside from that being like a huge fucking win in that situation, fucking forgot what I was going to say again.
Next question.
No, don't fucking, you make me forget even harder. Oh, yes. I think if we're to break it down to, in my mind, to break it down to the most simple, like, thing that we're doing here is, we're changing the program, making it more sustainable. We're allowing them to tick that box. When you give yourself something unsustainable, when you're busy and you're failing at that, you're not ticking that box, you're digging yourself a hole, like, I can't do it, I should be doing it, I know I should be doing it. And then everything else in your life is affected because you know you're not doing what you need to do. So what you've done is you've changed it so that he can just tick a box. Okay, I'm being healthy, I'm training, I'm doing what my higher self, where I want to be in 5-10 years, would do this shit. I'm doing that now, I'm ticking that box. Even if it's slightly less optimal, you're ticking that box, and it's much easier to come back to normal training straight after that, rather than, I'm fucked, I can't train at all, there's nothing I can do, I'm failing, I just failed for 6 months because I was so busy.
Yeah.
Just ticking boxes, even if it's just a little bit.
Got one more?
How come you never answer my texts, George Katana? So I always answer your text. It's usually just a few days or weeks later. Last one's for you, Marcus. Common misconceptions about ACL rehab advice for maintaining gym long term. / advice for training.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'd probably say this goes for the gym and for like getting back to sport. It's actually a pretty important one, I'd say. Like, you hear so many people like, oh, that knee will never be the same. Or it will, you know, like...
It won't. It'll be stronger if you do it right.
Exactly. Literally. I was having this convo with my physio, Jordan, last week. We were doing a field session and we were doing like a little bit of like slow motion kind of analysis on some of my movements. I'm getting into a lot of change in direction at the moment and stuff like that. And it's just stuff that I've never really done in this depth. So when we were watching these videos through, I was really struggling with a couple things. And he was like, man, like, this is fine. You probably just haven't done it like this before. And I was like, 100%. And I've said from the start, I know for a fact that this is going to make me a better athlete all round, because I'm covering so many bases that I just wouldn't have been doing before. Like, I'm going through everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, every sort of plyometric movement, every sort of change of direction drill, just all these things, and really nitpicking my movement, you know, my efficiency in movement as an athlete. And that's a little bit different to the question.
These are things no one does.
Yeah. And,
when
you know,
good.
Whether the actual structure of your ligament is stronger than, you know, your tendon that they graft you with, means absolutely nothing compared to what you do to get everything around that knee strong and functional afterwards. And I argue heavily that if you do it right, you will end up in a way better position, if you get the right guidance, that is, than you were before.
Yeah. So, common misconceptions about ACL, that's your common misconception?
My common misconception is something that everyone's been asking me over the last few months, like, oh, do you reckon your knee will ever be the same? I'm like, no, it won't be the same, but I reckon it'll feel stronger and better. Yeah, so it's like, that's a massive misconception. And that's what these surgeries are for, man. Like, these surgeons are great at what they do. Like, there's soccer player like Florian Wirtz did his ACL, the next season came back, won Player of the Year. In the Bundesliga, like in the German league. Like, do you know what I mean? Arguably better than what he was before.
I feel like another misconception from, I guess, the outside in is that you get surgery and you can't like walk for a period, at least 6 to 10 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah, no. It's usually, I think that for most cases, especially if it's just clean ACL, it's usually 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Usually just 2 weeks. You're back to it, man. You're moving quick. You actually like people start squatting and doing all that type of stuff 2-3 weeks after surgery. It's crazy. So it's just scary. Everyone hears about ACLs and it's like, oh man, and you do it and then it's like, oh, the whole world comes crashing down on you. But so many people have gone through it and come back on top. And they're the ones that have just trusted the process. They're the ones that, for me, it's, have that psychological edge over the others in just trusting that what they're going to do is actually going to pay off. And a lot of the time it does.
Yeah. The other part of his question, which I know we've sort of slammed in this podcast a little bit, but just to give it a little bit of time today, advice for maintaining gym long term. So, sounds of it, struggling to maintain gym long term.
Yep.
Tick boxes, be consistent, get guidance.
I'm going to assume.
Get a PT if you need a PT. If it's motivation, get a PT. Go do PT sessions. You can't.
Or even just take a step back and make sure that who you worked with understands your end stage goals. So if you just go to, I don't know, an average practitioner that doesn't really care about your goals and they just go through your standard, protocol for an ACL rehab and then they get you to a point where you're like, you're all right, you can function, you can work and stuff. But, if your goal is to be able to power lift and squat heavy and squat deep, like, have you trained towards that? Has everything that you've done been tailored towards your goal? Because by the sounds of that question, it's your goals haven't aligned with your rehab journey. And if your goals had have aligned with your rehab journey, and it's not like it's too late. You can do this stuff whenever. In my opinion, it should have been a part of it, and that's not your fault. It's the fault of the practitioner. The goal is the most important thing for any sort of rehab, whether it's an ACL or a muscle strain or whatever. So targeting your rehab, especially in those end stages towards your goal, is what's going to help you there. So reach out to a practitioner that's experienced with ACLs and get their guidance.
So just the last part of that was advice on maintaining gym long term. I wanted to add to that what I was saying before. Get a PT. If you're struggling with motivation, get into the gym, get a PT. There's so many more barriers to you cancelling that PT session compared to cancelling going to the gym after work. I forgot it. Absolutely forgot it. I'm on one today. Wrap her up. So I'm also looking to speak with new PTs out there. There are people that are aspiring to be PTs that are, have studied or about to finish studying. Drop me a message. Just want to connect and, as we were saying before, just build relationships and get to know more of the new age of PTs out there. If positions and stuff like that do open up in the future, I want to have had conversations with you. So just reach out. Let's build a relationship and have a chat and see where you're at, what your plans are, what your goals are. Aside from that, thanks for listening, guys. Boys, well done.
It's a big one.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
Thanks to all the supporters for watching always. I know we've been on school holidays for the last few weeks, but we're back now. Drop your questions anywhere. This will be YouTube or Spotify, or we'll put up a Q&A. Drop your questions. If there's anything you guys want us to cover, if it's not a question but you want us to cover or bring a certain guest on or something like that, drop it below whichever platform you're listening to. And thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
Ciao.
Have a good one.